Gentlemen, thanks for stopping into the channel. We got a pretty cool machine here. This thing is from 2008, and this is the second machine I did, or I'm going to be doing. We'll finish this one today. This week, from a similar era, around that era, that seems to be mint. You wouldn't have known it, judging by the look of it when I cleaned it up. You know, I grabbed it out of the yard. This was abandoned. And so a little story on it. Yeah, I just gave it a clean up. I took the top off and the bolts. I plugged up the carburetor. It's 2008 and it seems to be as new. I don't think it has any hours on it. The blade is mint. The tank is pristine. It has, like the other one I just did, which is a Yard Machines MTD, you know, lawnmower, push mower, new style, right? Same kind of surface rust, chassis being mint, and for whatever reason it stopped working or was abandoned, or I don't know, right? This thing has like nothing wrong with it other than this handle has been bent over, and so now it's not engaging and everything is flopping here. That's just a matter of taking off the handle. I'm going to do that first. Take it off, I'm going to bend it back on a vise, put it back on, adjust the spring, and then we should be able to, you know, get this thing set in height and its ride height. It's not going to be flopping around, and we can level the motor, and then we can take a look at the motor. I don't see anything wrong with it, honestly. It's like mint. Let's dig into it. I'll do the handle, and I'll just show, you know, a couple of quick excerpts of that. And this is already off, right? So we don't have to deal with anything there. I'm going to clean the magneto. You know, derust it a little bit, kind of get that up to today, check a few things over, pull the plug, but we are going to pull this carburetor. The diaphragms and what have you tend to get gooked up. It may be dried out. It might be no good if there's no fuel in it. This thing's mint, right? It's another one that seems to be a survivor from that era, that whatever happened to it and it was abandoned, it was about to be thrown out. Let's save it. I'll see you guys in a minute. This is pretty straightforward. Just need to cut this junk. I think there was a tag on it or something. I don't know. Maybe somebody, I think maybe somebody was trying to rope it over. Now there's a clip over here. There's just a little clip. Probably put a new one on too, because I have one. I'm just going to remove this. And then this handle, this clip. Alright, it's just bent in the wrong direction. So just very simply, fellas, I'm just going to take this end here, and I can see where the bend is, and I'm just gonna, you know, it's simple steel, it's nothing fancy. I'm gonna give it a good bend in the opposite direction, and just like that. And if it's, you know, if it's too much, fine, but I think that's a good start. I'll put this back on. Let me take that pull cord off, and we'll clean that area up a little bit. All right, so I put a nice bend in it, and I broke the bolt that holds this all together, which also doubles as sort of the holder for the pull cord. So I modified one from something else. So this is all working now. It works good. However, what we can see is it's very bouncy. And you're thinking, well, do you want to take that bend out? It would be less bouncy. I think we may have to. However, if you notice when you push it all the way forward with that bend in it, look at how high up, right, that is. So if that didn't have a bend in it, it would be even higher. And then this is all the way down. So I think it would be even down. It wouldn't be down as low. So I think maybe we want to see if we can take that bend out of it. We can always put the bend back, but with it straighter, you know, it shouldn't be so flexible. So I'm going to pull it off real quick. I'm just going to put a little washer in here. I'll probably put a washer in that. I'm going to straighten this out and see what it does. Maybe a little less of a bend. Let's start straight. I'll solve that problem, because I think, you know, when you're pushing on it, right, it's just going to... Let's see if we can fix that. All right, there's the blade down there. That's a little bit better. It's still, you know, listen, I'm not here to remake this thing. And a couple of washers in, right, so that we don't have so much slop. And it's still able to go. This is all the way down. So, yeah, see how far it can go, right? So it can go way far enough. I don't know if you can see that. So it can definitely go down real far. And then this is about where you would start it, somewhere in the middle, and it's better. Okay, so I think we're good there. Let's pull the carburetor off. Alright, so I just unplugged this because I'm not sure if it's going to be in the way. That's our kill wire. So we got a bolt here and a bolt down here, and then once that's done, we should be able to pull everything off. But we're also going to take this butterfly off. This is our governor. Well, I want you to look at the spring arrangement here. We're going to put that back because I want to take this off anyway because I want to clean all of this up, right? It's getting pretty nasty, so we'll get that cleaned up. We'll pull the plug in a bit, and let's get this off now. All right, I got the magnetron off, and look, we can see in here, right? See how rotted that is? That's no good. So we're going to put this in a bit of acid. I have a special acid for this. We'll get that cleaned up, and then we'll coat it with, I don't know, either chain wax or a dielectric. All right, I'm just going to pull off some of this junk. Right, plug was terrible. I'm going to clean off all of this, get this cleaned up now. And does this thing even have, what do we have for oil in it? Got a little dipstick. Anyway, it looks clean. We'll change that after we run it and make sure everything is okay, but it should be alright. If you want, we can take that off. We could probably do a quick compression test, but it feels like it's okay. But yeah, we might want to do a quickie just to see. So just leave these to the side, careful. You get it all cleaned up, and then I'll just put a little tape around the bottom, and we'll put a little paint on it, and then we'll keep moving forward, let that dry. Alright, I put a bit of my tranny lube into the plug hole, and that'll loosen things up a little. As I was cleaning it a little bit, sucking it all, sucking some of the junk out of the. There's a cover over here. I smell rat piss and mouse piss. I think what I'm going to do is after I clean this thing up a little bit, we'll take it outside. There's some junk still underneath here. Let me just do a quickie and I'll yell it out. Yeah, we're doing good, guys. We're doing okay. Let's see if you can see it. You may not be able to see it because there's always glare. Here, let me turn that one light off. So I'll just put a little super clean, and that way, because I can see that the way the rust is, there's no big mouse nest, but they were fooling around in here. Right. So we're getting some good compression out of it. She'll run a little 3.5 horsepower. She's in beautiful shape. So I'm going to plug up these holes. And then I'm going to take this guy, right, and hit all of the, this is the standoff, so we want a good connection there. All right, and then I'm going to do all the magnets and I'll plug up the holes, I'll bring it out, I'll give it a quick wash one more time. We'll bring it back in a little bit and we'll get to the rest of it. All right, cap that off. I just bent this out of the way a little bit, pull this down, we'll get in there. I think that's where they were starting to do their business. This I hit with 60 grit. I'll do this with 36 because there's no brake on it, so we're just going to clean that up and get a good spark. 36, this is the one I usually use, but it's a Scotch-Brite type, and this is 60. So we'll get this thing cleaned up. I'm going to be bringing it right now. We'll get the rest of that cleaned off and we'll rinse it good. Get it washed up with some super clean. You can see it's puking all over, and it's been clean. Okay. So there's junk underneath too. I just blew off what little bit of dirt was around there. It's really clean inside. Something fell out though. All right. Let's see. Is this the gas cap piece? Well, we'll probably be able to get it. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's just a baffle for the gas cap. So it shouldn't be an issue, but we may want to change that cap. That's going to leak. So I'm going to have to look through my stuff and see if I have a different cap. We may want to just wash this off real quick, because I don't want that coming back in. You know, as we clean, I always try to clean away and down. I know a lot of people don't do this, but this is how you get dirt inside. Like, you don't want to take it all apart and have all this dirt around it and then take it apart, and then you're going to wind up with that dirt coming back into these little ports and everything. It just doesn't make sense. So I just like to give everything an exterior wash. Now, most of this we got this with the pressure washer when I pressure washed it. But what does it take? A minute to do this? Right. I'll be right back. Just gonna wipe this off. It's nice. It's decent. Just a little peace of mind. I like to use these nice long screwdrivers because I can get more torque. So I'm gonna pop all these off, because otherwise my hand's gonna be in your face, and we'll come back in a minute. All right, so again, just for peace of mind, and there could be dirt down in that. Yeah, she looks good, right? Look at it. This thing's not even used. So there's nothing wrong here. I'm going to give it a quick, blow with some gum out, guys. Usually there's a little bit of soil and debris down in there, and there is just a small amount. So I'm just going to give it a blow. But I like to take these acid brushes or these small paint brushes, cut the bristles down, and that way you can get into areas like this with a bit of solvent, right? And I'm just going to hit him with the brush real fast and blow. And then just to get off any extra debris. There's really nothing in here. This thing's mint. It's just a little bit. So what I'm going to do, take my high pressure air in a minute. I'm just going to blow through some of these ports, just because we're here. And then I'm going to blow this out. And like I said, I'm going to do the same thing with this. We'll take this off. I don't see any real debris in there, but I'm going to hold it tight and blow that out. We'll blow all in here. Just a quickie. I'm not going to try to lift this up. I don't see any debris in this, really. So just a quickie. We'll put it all back together, and then machine's drying outside, so after lunch we'll bring it back in and we'll assemble it. All right, blew the tank out, and low pressure air always on anything carbureted. You don't want to. These are your valves, actually, right here. These are like little valves. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take some of my. I use 2-stroke, but I like this better. This is our tranny fluid mix. It's going to wet all that down, and then we're going to put it together. Don't over tighten anything. And we'll put a little bit of material on this stuff. I'm going to screw all that back together. Oh, I almost forgot. Hold on. I blew this out. The gum out in a little low pressure air. Psst. Hey, I'm going quick because I want to take a quick break. I'm going to screw these back down, and just a little bit at a time, snug them, kind of like a cross pattern, fellas. Get them all started before you do any snugging. Yeah, this is in beautiful shape. And once we get it running and everything, if I have an issue with that gas cap, I'll have to pull out the box and see. I should have an older style. I've seen this a lot with some of the changes in the gas caps of these. They had some weird ones for this engine, like really tall, weird. They tried to put EPA charcoal canisters, vapor recovery. Anyway, if I still have an older one, which I should have something, because there's doesn't seem like there's any gasket in that. I don't know what might be missing. It's probably the valve. So there's a valve in those things. Make sure you clean your gas caps, fellers. Right? Wash them out, blow them out. You'll just reintroduce dirt, spiders. You've seen the big spider that came out of this thing because he kept making a web. He was underneath the chassis of the machine. And I think I got rid of him. I don't know. I hit him with something. I don't know where he went. That's when you like check yourself. I'm like, no, spider! Look out! He was huge, right? But they don't want to be bothered with you. Don't over tighten this. Just snug it up. Now we'll just go around, make sure they're all tight. All right, I think we're good. I'll see you guys in a bit. Now, one more thing. Make it slide on a little bit easier, right? Be careful. The white piece is the lock. The black piece is the O-ring. That's your seal. Put a little bit of this on there. We're done. All right, looks nice and clean, right? See, this is from piss. It's that ammonia acid. We'll take a little bit of tape, wrap around the bottom, throw a rag down or two, blow a little paint on it, and then we'll put it back together again. Okay, so another thing I noticed is that this is loose. So we just need to tighten it, but since I'm going to paint it, I might as well bend these back, take this off, we'll paint it, and then we'll reinstall it properly. I like that. It's got that extension tube. They don't do that anymore. Nice. Nice. Next. Now this just slides in. So we already have it lubed. I just kind of tuck this up here out of the way. Hold on, let me get it. Let me get to where I need it. Okay. Something like that. Now, I think we could put this in. Now, we should be able to slide all this in. It helps that I bent that one piece out of the way, this piece here, but we have to fix that now. We have to put this piece in, right? This bolt and this piece, and it's got the spacer in it. I just put a little bit of lubricant on, you know, the tranny fluid stuff. And I have that bolt over there. I just took that bolt and just temporarily put that there to align it and keep it where we need it. I'm not going to tighten it because I'm not sure. I'm going to put the coil back, and I want to make sure that the spring is working right, because we need the butterfly in as well. Since we bent this, we're going to have to finagle with it. Okay, so I got this all cleaned up nice. Wire wheel. I didn't check it. My own meter's all screwed up, but should be good. We got it cleaned out in there. What I do is I use my DTM metal prep and stick it into the boot, and I just leave it sit for a little while I went and did all the other stuff. And so now, before we finish, all right, we're just going to take a little bit of tranny fluid stuff. Got the boot all cleaned out. Just shove that back in there. That makes it easier to go in. And then you can use some dielectric, but we're just going to use a little bit of chain wax. All right. Now we can go mount it. And get out my 10,000ths. We'll go over there and we'll mount it. Now this guy actually pulled apart, and I had to work to get that to be back together again. So that's your extension. Let's plug it in now. Everything's nice and clean. Okay. That should be good there. And I lubricate a little oil on the bolts. Let's get that out of the way. Try to keep my hands out of your way. And then make sure that this shaft is clean. Put a little oil on it, and that'll keep it from getting worse. So this is our speed control, our governor. And what we want to do, so we want to hook it here and here. So I'll take it off and I'll show you what I'm doing. You can't see it because that's why I wanted to make sure. All right, just like that, kind of hook it on there, and you'll be able to get another look at it in a bit. But just like the way it was when I showed you the first pictures of it, and turn that in. And so with this on there loose, this I kind of worked it into place, got that hook on everything. And now we should be able to adjust our coil. So pull the coil back and just snug it. Alright, and now we'll put the magnet. Drop this guy in. 10 to 12,000 should be fine. Loosen up the magnetron. Let it suck in. Okay. We'll tighten it. Okay. That should do it. Just tighten this a little bit more. This one, be careful with tightening that one. You could crush it, even though there's a shank on it. That's good. All right, so this is working good. So now, should be able to pull this guy in. Where are you? Lift up a little bit. Now, did I get? Yeah, okay. That's snug. Let's tighten up this big bolt on the carburetor spacer. That's good and tight. Let's finish the tight on this. That's tight. And let's make sure that this, you go there. You get my tool with the plug out, right? So that we can turn things. Now it's nice and tight, but all this has been deloused so we can get a good tight gap. All that rust is gone, so it won't be hitting. This feels good. I can see. I'll get you in a little closer. That's working. Let's get our ground cable connected. Hopefully that works. We'll test that later. Just push this back out of the way a little bit. Just try to put a little excess there. That's it wants to be there. All right, I think we can put the top on. Let's take this bolt out. And I'll show you what I want to do with the top. So what I do is I put oil on the poles and into that spring hook area. I pull it all the way through, get all that rope pulled through. Splash whatever you get in there. Use chain wax too. You'll still splash. And then wipe up any excess. Make sure you get out all the excess. You don't want that in there. Because they get sticky. And I wash them so they get water too, so we want to get some of that out. So let's give it a quick blow, get whatever little bit of debris in there, and then I'm going to put it on. Alright, see? Look, there's my daughter.
No.
Nice clean plug, about 28 thousandths, a little bit of no C's on it. Probably a little too much no C's. Child! Where is the child? What are you doing?
Brushing the dog.
Oh, look. Okay, check the primer. The primer bulb works. I got some fuel in it. We'll put a little oil in it in a little bit. We just want to see if it's going to run, and if it runs okay. And then we'll shut it off. We'll put oil in. I'll get the air filter cleaned up. We'll do a few more things to it. Also, while I was underneath it, I hit spray lube, spray wax, chain wax, whatever. On a whole bunch of things, lubed up the tires. So this needs to come forward, and it unfortunately it does not. I don't want to push it all the way forward. We don't want it to be too out of level. We just want to make sure we clear the blade. There is no blade disengage that I can see. So this is just, we got to hold this thing back this little lever here and give it a tug, and let's just see what it does. There we go. Sounds good. So probably could use a little bit more. Yeah, we'll check that. Okay, so I'm going to get some oil in it and we'll bring it out and let it run. Let me let this go level. And I hear all kinds of boogers in there. It's smoking everything up. I'll go get the air cleaner and a few other things, and we'll bring it out and we'll let it run and maybe bring the RPM up a little bit. Let's see.